This photo is from when Sophie modeled for Drake's OVO campaign at the time. She is a model and actress, and she was cool with OVO in the camp. And I don't know what him posting her means.
UMG responded, y'all. The suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of his artists is offensive and untrue.
A second. Whatever the label UMG was doing to promote, Not Like Us, they were doing the same thing for you your whole career.
As everyone knows, Drake has been at odds with Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group, for a while. But things just went in a weird direction. Drake decided to go for Lucian's daughter-in-law, Sophia Richie Grange, instead of Lucian. Because he is too scared to face the men head-on, Drake is once again luring women into his drama. But this is on a whole other level in light of all the charges leveled about Drake and young women. Lucian Grange is also not your typical CEO. The man basically controls the whole music industry. If Drake thinks he can keep doing things like this without getting caught, he's really playing with fire.
Over the next 2 decades, Lucian climbed the ranks until 2005, where he became the chairman of Universal's UK division. And by 2011, he was the chairman and CEO of all of Universal Music Group. And since taking over Universal, he's more than quadrupled the value of the company. It's worth about $55 billion right now. And they also own all the biggest artists. In fact, 70% of the songs on Billboard are owned by UMG.
So why is Drake posting pictures of Lucian's daughter-in-law on the internet? Does he have a strategy at all? Or is he just reeling from Kendrick's unexpected revelation? Let's analyze this.
For the next 2 decades, Lucian climbed the ranks until 2005, where he became the chairman of Universal's UK division. And by 2011, he was the chairman and CEO of all of Universal Music Group. And since taking over Universal, he's more than quadrupled the value of the company. It's worth about $55 billion right now. And they also own all the biggest artists. In fact, 70% of the songs on Billboard are owned by UMG.
The whole hip-hop world is celebrating Kendrick's recent triumphs, while Drake is back at it again, behaving suspiciously and making subtle comments on social media. Rather of taking revenge on the man who referred to him as a certified PDF file on wax, Drizzy has gone back to mocking women. When he is under pressure, this appears to be his go-to strategy. In case you missed it, Drake has been rather active on his Finsta. Ever since Kendrick embarrassed him in front of the world during the Super Bowl, he has been subjected to subliminal criticism through plot twists. He initially shared a photo of himself with Jill Smaller, Serena Williams' former agent, purportedly in reaction to Serena attending Kendrick's halftime performance. But things get worse. Drake didn't only make fun of Serena, he also posted a picture of Sophia Richie Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group and Lucian Grange's daughter-in-law. To make things more complicated, he unfollowed everyone on his Finsta and is now just following Sophia. But Drake didn't stop there. He took it a step further by uploading an old photo of Sophia that showed her looking quite young. Furthermore, with all of the charges against him for his relationships with younger women, you would think Drake would be a little more self-aware. But he just continues making it easier for people to despise him. It's also absurd that he is unaware of how unsettling he appears as a result. In the wake of his latest remarks, Drake has come under fire on social media for his peculiar behavior and for constantly using women to denigrate the men he actually has issues with. And this is nothing new if you have been watching Drake's slide. He has a long and problematic history of pursuing the girlfriends, wives, and even daughters of his opponents. During his argument with Meek Mill, he followed Nicki. He brought up Pusha T and his fiancée, Virginia. After being called out by DJ Mustard, Drake assaulted his ex-wife. Drake, of course, persisted in gently disparaging Whitney in front of Kendrick, even bringing up the subject of Kendrick and Whitney's kids. In addition, Drake has a long history of making fun of women who rejected him. Megan Thee Stallion, Georgia, Smith, Rihanna, and several more have experienced this. Remember when he disparaged Rihanna's defeat by calling her mediocre? Additionally, keep in mind that before to this, he had called her the love of his life and had been publicly simping for her for years. It's similar to those men who, unable to cope with rejection, just begin calling women ugly the instant they are turned down. In addition, it is disturbing that Drake, who is 40 years old, is still moving in this way. The most disgusting example, though, was when Drake followed Mos Def's freshly 18-year-old daughter because he was so smitten with Mos Def after he labeled him a pop musician. And that's not just petulant, it's outright predatory. Now that Drake and UMG are at odds, Drake is chasing Lucian Grange's daughter-in-law, not to mention that Sophia is 12 years younger than him. She is married and gave birth to a child 8 months ago. Drake lacked the guts to post a photo of Sophia's husband, Elliot Grange, Lucien's legitimate son and a music entrepreneur. Instead, Drake made the cowardly decision to drag a lady who has nothing to do with this rivalry and isn't even in the music business. Now, some of Drake's fans have tried to defend him by saying that Sophia served as an OVO model, but what does it really mean? That doesn't make this any less bizarre and desperate. It always blows up in Drake's face when he makes one of these weak, cowardly moves. Because he was too scared to sue Kendrick for calling him a pedophile, he initially attacked UMG for letting Kendrick release the song, completely ignoring the fact that UMG also released his diss tapes, in which he claimed that Kendrick had touched Whitney and questioned the paternity of one of their children. Drake is also pursuing Lucien Grange's daughter-in-law instead of Lucien or his son Elliot, now that he and UMG are at conflict. Just when you think Drake can't get any more humiliating, he manages to surpass himself. Furthermore, with all of the charges against him regarding younger women, you would think that he would be more careful about bringing any women or kids into his mess. He just can't stop himself, though. Drake is currently receiving warnings from fans that it would be dangerous to pursue Lucien Grange's family. One admirer claims that if Lucien thought he had issues, he would make sure he suffered today. He's not coming back. Someone other commented that she is also the daughter of Lionel Richie. Is Drake unaware of this? Drake, your family is known to that man. Ask your father and Uncle Graham. You will be caught in the act on the family front. In the defamation lawsuit involving Drake's issues with Lucien Grange and UMG, fans are still trying to determine his ultimate objective. In case you were unaware, Drake filed a defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group in federal court last month for allegedly promoting Kendrick's diss song, Not Like Us. Drake essentially restated his claims in the 2 court filings he filed in November, alleging that UMG was using questionable tactics, such as play-to-play schemes and the use of bots, to fictitiously boost the quantity of plays and popularity of Kendrick's diss track on Spotify. But that's not even the most ridiculous part. Drake also accused Not Like Us of being anti-Semitic in his lawsuit. It's true what you read. He went there. The lawsuit claims that Drake also mentions his Jewish heritage in the recordings, calling him an effing colonizer instead being a colleague. Drake was given special treatment at UMG that no other artist had while he was Lucien's golden child. Fans couldn't help but laugh at the ridiculousness of Drake now accusing him of anti-Semitism, when many used to say that Drake was getting this luxury because he and Lucien are Jewish. Drake is upset over losing a rap war, but now he's accusing Lucien of disseminating an anti-Semitic song? How in the world can it make sense? You know, Drake's lawyers must be laughing at this one. This issue isn't even being taken seriously by UMG. In response, their lawyers reminded Drake that he wouldn't be where he is now without their help. Throughout his career, Drake has deliberately and successfully utilized UMG to promote his poetry and music, engaging in the often absurd back-and-forth rap feuds that allow him to express his grievances with other musicians, according to a statement from UMG. In an effort to suppress artistic expression, he is now trying to utilize the legal system to seek payment from UMG for the artist's music distribution. In other words, UMG is asserting that everything Drake claims they did to help Kendrick is something they have already done for him. Drake was once the most popular rapper in the game, but it was only due to UMG's constant promotion of his tracks on all radio stations and internet platforms. Everyone remembers those occasional Spotify playlists that included Drake's image on the cover, but the genre of the song had nothing to do with Drake. Some of Drake's fans think he's trying to get out of his UMG contract. But if that's the case, does Drake really think that bringing a defamation suit against Lucien Grange's daughter-in-law is the wisest course of action? He's out here doing some pretty questionable things, and it feels like he's digging his own grave at the moment. His fans are always trying to convince everyone that by playing chess with Lucien, he is breaking the rules. But let's be honest, Drake will be unpleasantly surprised if he thinks he can outsmart these men. These executives have been running the show for as long as Drake has been rapping, and they dislike artists who get too big for their boots. Now that he's taking things personally and coming for Lucien's family, Drake might just learn the hard way that messing with the machine usually doesn't work out well, kid. But what are your thoughts on Drake's pursuit of Sophia Grange and all? These other ladies who have nothing to do with his feud? And what do you think Drake's defamation lawsuit against UMG is trying to achieve? Kindly provide your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. Kindly provide your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. Don't forget to watch this following video as well.